Hi again. In Leon Morris's book, Jesus is the Christ, Studies in the Theology of John, he's dealing now with the I am passages. Here with I am the resurrection and the life, and I am the way, the truth, and the life. Thus far, all Jesus' I am sayings have been addressed to the Jews in general, rather than specifically to his followers. But the rest of these sayings are spoken to those who have committed themselves to him. When Jesus spoke to Martha after her brother Lazarus died, he told her that Lazarus would rise, which he took as a reference to the resurrection at the last day. Jesus then said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, even if he dies, he will live. And everyone who lives and believes in me will certainly not die eternally. Jesus does not say simply that he will give resurrection and life, or give resurrection and life, but that he is resurrection and life. This is not an easy expression, but we should understand Jesus to mean that raising people from the dead and giving them life is not, so to speak, a routine activity that he performs in an uninvolved way. He is thoroughly involved in the bringing of life of which he speaks, and he identifies himself with it. That he is the resurrection means that death, which to us appears so final, is no obstacle, and that he is the life means that the quality of life that he imparts to us here and now never ceases. Jesus speaks these words in the context of the death of Lazarus, whom he was about to raise, and John clearly means us to see them in the light of that demonstration of Jesus' power over death. He is writing about one who is supremely great and who has a breathtaking superiority to death. It is common to the human race that in the end we all face death, and that there's nothing we can do about that. We may stave death off for a time, but when it takes place, it is final. John writes about a Lord for whom it is not final. He is such a great person that even death gives place to him. Now, I am the way and the truth and the life. In the upper room on the eve of the crucifixion, Jesus spoke of his imminent departure, finishing with, and where I am going, you know the way. John 14:4. Thomas rejoined with, Lord, we don't know where you are going. How can we know the way? To which Jesus replied, I am the way and the truth and the life, adding, no one comes to the Father except through me. The I am, in the style of deity, marks this as another very solemn statement, but it is not easy to see the precise meaning of the words. Some think that all three nouns should be given their full force, while others regard a couple of them as, in effect, adjectives. Thus, Moffat translates, I am the real and living way, and Moule wonders whether I am the way, I am truth, I am life would be better. Some omit one or more of the definite articles. For example, Goodspeed, I am way and truth and life. I see no reason for such devices, and it is much better to take the words as originally written, articles and all. It seems as though Jesus is affirming three things about himself. First, he says, I am the way. Like the claim to be the door that we were examining earlier, there's an exclusiveness about this. He does not say that he is one of several ways, but that he is the way. And since he goes on to say that no one comes to the Father other than through him, it is clear that by the way he means the way to God. John is insisting that Jesus is the one way to the Father. He will not allow for one moment that the way of the Jewish priestly leaders, with their insistence on the place of the law and the significance of circumcision, is another possible way to God. Whatever the leaders might say, John is affirming that the person of Jesus is such that he and no other can bring us to the heavenly abode. He's not saying that Jesus shows the way, but that he is the way. This points us to the significance of his saving death. By dying for sinners, he brings them to God. I am the truth brings out more than one significant piece of teaching. It reminds us, first of all, of Jesus' utter reliability. John has recorded a good deal of teaching which he ascribes to Jesus, and this declaration means that it is all true. It can all be relied upon. And in this gospel, truth is a quality of deeds as well as of speech, so that we should conclude that Jesus' whole manner of life expresses what is true. He speaks the truth, and his deeds accord with that truth. Truth is not the teaching about God transmitted by Jesus, but is God's very reality revealing itself, occurring in Jesus. That's a quote from Rudolf Bultmann. John is saying more than that Jesus proclaims the truth. Of course he does that, but to say that he is the truth means, as Kummel puts it, that he belongs to God. But then it says, above all that, in Jesus, God has become quite personally audible, and that through the encounter with this truth, that has appeared personally, salvation is to be imparted to men. I am the life takes us into the same area as the saying, I am the resurrection and the life. Once more, Jesus is associating life very closely with himself. It is he alone whose life is unique, self-existent, like the life of the Father. He is the life and the source of life to others. This comprehensive saying, then, claims an exclusive position for Jesus. He is the one-way God. He is thoroughly reliable, and he stands in a relation to truth such as no one else does. The same, of course, is true of his relationship to life. Next time, I am the true vine. I'll put in a link this time to John 5:24 in our series, What J.W. Org is Not Telling You. John 5:24 is a truth that you don't hear if you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses, namely that if we believe in Jesus Christ, we have passed over from death to life. Not one day we will, but we have passed over. See you next time.